Hello everyone, welcome to Shankar IAS Academy. Today we have Suba Keerthana ma'am with us to talk about anthropology. Ma'am, we know that anthropology is one of the best subjects as well as a good optional. So what is your opinion about that?
Hello Nitin. So first aspect, when you are choosing any optionals, you have to consider three things. So I would say it is not just for anthropology, for any optionals. So first is you should be seeing what is the mark scoring potential of a particular subject. So in anthropology, if you see, there are instances where people have reached more than 350. So second aspect you have to consider is that you should have a very good guidance. So is self-study possible? It is completely possible, but it will take more time. So being time a very important factor in UPSC preparation, I would suggest you to choose an optional where you have a very good guidance. And the third one, the most important one of course is that, do you think you are interested over a particular topic or particular optional? So in that aspect, I would say anthropology is a very good optional. So it is one of the best optional, I would say.
Okay. And there is a talk that comparing with other subjects, anthropology has relatively small syllabus. So what do you say about that?
Okay. So many students ask me regarding the same. When you talk about the syllabus, how much time we would take to complete the optional, I would say yes, anthropology comparatively has a lesser time requirement to complete the syllabus. But if we talk about is it more easier than the other subject, when we have the right practice, when we have an understanding of what are the potential questions, when we are giving the quality time to the preparation process, it of course will take lesser time compared to other subjects. But right now the trend when we see, they are asking dynamic questions, but we are not expecting more than 2 to 3 dynamic questions per paper. And I would say that is inevitable in every optionals. So it's a balance right now. So when you talk about the quantifying aspect of the optional, comparatively it is lesser. But now since they are demanding more quality in your answers, you have to spend more time in preparation and the practice aspect, not just the class aspect. So it's a balance right now, I would say.
I went through the syllabus, and since it is a holistic study of man, we have to deal with some biological concepts also, like genetics and all. So will it be comfortable for people coming from non-biological background like engineering, arts, commerce and all?
So this is a doubt many students have, and me being an engineer from the background, I would say the biological aspect in the subject we are studying, since it's a holistic science, we would include the biological aspect of human beings also. So in this perspective, will that be the entire subject? No. So it would be around 1/4 of the entire syllabus would be from biology, and that too will not be a complex aspect, I would say. So that would be in a basic aspect. So like we will be studying the basics of genetics, and then we will be studying some of the aspect of primates, and we belong to primates, so we will study about that. And it would not be in a very complex aspect, and of course I am going to help you in that aspect also. Like some people might feel it tough, and I am going to help you with that, so it won't be an issue.
Okay. Is there any disadvantage or limitation for anthropology as an option?
Okay, so I would not say a disadvantage aspect, but I would say a requirement which is very important in anthropology. One is that the subject is very interesting, that you will end up getting lost in the content because it's very relevant to life. So we would start wandering around the content, we will start searching the internet. So one thing about optional, anthropology optional, I would say is that your answer should be structured. So generally we will all have a fear, what if I don't know the answer? But when it comes to anthropology, you will know lots of things.
Okay.
So knowing what to write it in the paper, knowing what is not required, and this is something we have to understand when it comes to the anthropology. Because you will relate it to life, everyday life, your belief system, the social institutions you are living with, and all these things, I won't say it as a disadvantage, but the limitation here or the requirement here, I won't even mention it as a limitation. The requirement here would be understanding what is required and how are you going to present it in the paper. Because whatever you might say, you have to give a substantiation, a case study or an example as such. And also some places it demands diagrams. So it might be a map. For example, we are talking about prehistoric aspects. There it would demand a map or tool diagram we might be drawing. Or when we are talking about primates, we are comparing different fossil evidences. There we might be talking about what did evolutionary aspect of change in a particular, let's say we compare two skulls of Homo erectus and Neanderthals. So those aspects when we are talking about, we have to draw a diagram. So diagram and then substantiations like case studies and example would be a requirement for this paper. So that is the aspect I would say is a very important thing to consider.
Ma'am, how this optional anthropology will support general studies?
Yes, so that is a very good question. So in prelims, we are right now seeing certain questions which are very relevant to optional. So in 2023, there was a question regarding which of the following organism uses tool to take insect and eat it. So the answer was orangutan. It was a 2023 question.
Okay.
And the reason that question
from
was
primatology.
Yes, primatology. The reason that question was asked is that so we have a primatologist, Dr. Jane Goodall, and she worked on a chimpanzee called as David Greybird. So she observed this aspect and she was honored. That was a part of her current affairs. So that was a question reflected in the examination. And even the recent 2026 prelims, we had Genome India project asked as a question in the examination. And when it comes to mains, so prelims aspect, these are the things. But when it comes to mains, what happens is, you will get a very different perspective for your answers. Be it essay, be it GS, specifically the concepts from society, social justice. You will get a very different perspective, very good understanding when it comes to approaching those answers. A social aspect, a biological aspect sometime will be a very great factor. You will start understanding the link between different aspects of society. So your answers would be even more unique and more value added to your answer.
Coming to our academy, what is special about this year's anthropology batch?
Yes. So when it comes to this year, one thing is we are now going to offline and online mode. So for the past few years, we have been doing anthropology only in the online mode. Right now, we are planning to do it in the offline and online mode. Because some students want to come, and I think it would be very helpful, more effective also. So I will also suggest to choose, if you are available for the offline mode, I will definitely ask you to opt for it. Online and offline mode we are planning for right now, and we are also having test series starting this June 15 for both the students who are writing this mains and also who are planning to complete their preparation cycle. So this year the very special aspect is that we are coming back to the offline mode.
Okay.
That is the major thing.
Students who are planning for 2027 can also take test series.
Yes, definitely. Who are they want to complete the cycle.
Okay.
So I will always suggest you to complete the cycle of preparation. Okay. So the major mistake people do when it comes to the prelims aspect is that they'll write the prelims, and if at all they are not getting a positive result, they will stop it there. Then they will start again only when the prelims notification is out. So right now, when we see the trend of the question paper, if you are having a clarity over the mains aspect also, you have a bigger advantage in prelims. So you want to complete the cycle of preparation, you actually have to attend a proper mains test series. That is when you have a clarity on various aspects when it comes to this UPSC preparation.
Ma'am, one more question. So we know that anthropology is a study of man beyond time and space, but beyond an academic subject or an optional, what is really anthropology means to you?
Okay, so I chose anthropology as my optional subject in 2015. I was an engineering graduate at that time, and my senior suggested me to look into the syllabus. So when I looked into the syllabus was very relevant. So I saw major social institutions, and then I have a affinity towards biology in general. Even though from an engineering background, I have an affinity towards biology. So I had an interest over the syllabus. So what happened was I took anthropology classes, and I took my classes from Shankar IAS Academy. And once I came to know about the concepts, I came to know about the cultures from the different parts of the world, I started understanding there is no one right rule that we actually are supposed to follow. So this helped me to have a very good perspective about life and others. And this helped me to become most of the situation a non-judgmental person. So we'll study about this actually. I think you know about this ethnocentrism and cultural relativism. So how we are supposed to look at others' culture from their perspective and not from our perspective, not being judgmental about someone else's culture. It's very natural to think the culture I belong to is the best. But still, when you try to study about someone else's culture, you have to give that respect and you have to give that open space when you are perceiving someone else's culture. That actually helped me to have a very open perspective with respect to many things, be it religion, be it marriage as a social institution, how does kinship play a major role in the survival of human beings. So there is always different multiple layers of understanding of things we have. So we usually have a understanding of what is in between, in between us and the particular situation. But anthropology helped me to look beyond that. So what is the real reason? So what is the aspect of the chaos going on in the world? What is the reason why people do certain things? So apart from just life, when you talk about my UPSC preparation also, it helped me a lot. My answers are shaped because of the anthropology. So it means a lot to me as a, apart from the UPSC preparation, anthropology means a lot to me.
It will really make us free from a lot of constraints actually.
Yes, definitely. I think anybody who has prepared, who has sit in the class, who has listened to the class, who have honestly prepared, they will have more clarity and they'll feel more free with respect to certain things. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Navin. Thank you.